Can Zhen Huan, blessed with both beauty and talent, truly outshine all in the imperial harem and enjoy everlasting favor? With consort Hua's fall from grace, the palace became much quieter. Without this formidable adversary, Mei Zhuang and I could finally breathe a sigh of relief, focusing solely on securing our favor. As consort Hua lost her power to assist in managing the 6 palaces, her quarters were no longer as bustling as before. After several unsuccessful attempts to see Emperor Xianling, she became quiet and seldom left her residence, ignoring the whispers and scorn from other consorts and concubines. By mid-May, the weather in the capital grew increasingly hot. Traditionally, emperors would relocate to the Taiping Summer Palace in Xijing to escape the summer heat before June, returning to the capital in early autumn. Although Emperor Xianling wasn't bothered by the heat, the custom persisted, partly because many in the palace, including the nobility and consorts, were less tolerant of it. Thus, with a simple command, the imperial household department had everything arranged in advance. Emperor Xianling, following tradition, led the consorts, nobles, and officials in a grand procession out of the capital to the Taiping Summer Palace. The Taiping Summer Palace, originally the Haoshang Garden of Emperor Jingzong from the previous dynasty, was located by the mountains and waters, offering exquisite scenery. Over nearly 100 years, it had been expanded into the grandest imperial garden, with numerous pavilions and halls added to its landscape. Aside from the empress, only 6 or 7 favored consorts accompanied the imperial entourage, including Qiao Ronghua. Despite being a close confidant of consort Hua, Qiao Ronghua wasn't implicated in her fall, likely due to her usually quiet demeanor. With consort Li's known arrogance and impatience, Qiao Ronghua's calmness made her more likable in contrast. Moreover, Emperor Xianling had few children. Aside from those who passed away early, he only had 1 prince and 2 princesses. Qiao Ronghua was the mother of Princess Wen Yi, who was not yet a year old. Despite the care of numerous wet nurses and palace maids, the princess still needed her mother's attentive care. Although consort Hua had fallen out of favor, she still held the highest rank among the consorts, and the empress had arranged for her to come along. However, consort Hua stayed inside her carriage, avoiding any awkward encounters with others until reaching Xijing. Consort Duan, suffering from illness and unable to endure the heat, also made the journey, residing in her own carriage away from the rest. Ling Rong and Chen Chongzai, never having received favor, and Shi Meiren, long fallen from favor, remained in the palace. Ling Rong, cautious and discreet, and Chen Chongzai, young and naive, were not concerned, but Shi Meiren was upset for days over not being included in the trip, and she didn't come to see us off. Being constantly embroiled in palace intrigues, the departure from the red walls of the palace was refreshing. Seeing the countryside and smelling the fresh scent of wildflowers and grasses relaxed my body and mind. The Taiping Summer Palace, built along the contours of Songlu Mountain, incorporated the best scenery from both the north and the south, offering a stark contrast to the imperial city. Staying at the Taiping Palace felt less constrained than the capital, although it was essentially just a change of location. This time the Empress Dowager, finding the journey too cumbersome and preferring to remain in prayer due to her advanced age, stayed behind in the capital. Although I had been in the palace for over half a year, I had never seen the Empress Dowager, as she rarely left the Yining Palace except for major festivals, and only met with the Emperor, Empress, and their children. Thus, being away from the Empress Dowager felt like a child visiting their maternal grandparents' house, away from their strict father, offering a sense of relaxation. Emperor Xianling chose the cool and serene Xueli Nanshuan Hall for his residence. The empress naturally stayed in the equally prestigious Guangfeng Jiua Hall. Mei Zhuang, fond of the lush green bamboo forest in Yuruan Garden, chose to reside there. As I am particularly sensitive to heat and Emperor Xianling didn't want me to be far, he considered placing me in a side hall of Xueli Nanshuan Hall for easy access. However, this could attract unwanted attention, so I tactfully declined. Instead, Emperor Xianling assigned me to Yifu Hall, where the doorway opened to a vast expanse of gracefully standing lotus flowers, with cool breezes wafting over from the lake, creating a pleasant and comfortable atmosphere. Upon entering Yifu Pavilion, I was greeted by dozens of pots of jasmine, gardenia, and magnolia, their white blossoms endearingly fresh. Each room was equipped with a windmill fan, Huan, all smiles, explained. Knowing your fondness for natural scents and to alleviate the summer heat without incense, His Majesty specially ordered these fresh flowers and installed windmills to cool the air and spread the fragrance. Indeed, as the windmills turned, a refreshing breeze filled the hall with a delicate aroma. Huan flattered. No other mistress enjoys this privilege. Your favor in the palace is truly unparalleled. Emperor Xianling's thoughtful arrangements touched me. Turning to Huan, I said, "Please convey my gratitude to His Majesty. I will personally thank him later." Huan mentioned, "His Majesty might go hunting soon. You may wish to rest a while before visiting." I smiled. "His Majesty is truly considerate." Huan added, "The days aren't too hot yet. When the peak of summer arrives, placing ice blocks from the ice cellar in the palace will provide utmost comfort. His Majesty has instructed the Internal Affairs Department to use ice whenever you feel hot. We dare not neglect this order." I gave him a look and kindly said, "Eunuch Huang, you've gone to great lengths for this. Such tasks could have been delegated to anyone. There was no need for you to come personally. Please accept some silver from Cui Shunren as a token of my appreciation for your efforts." Huan hastily declined. "I couldn't possibly accept, my lady. Serving you is our fortune, cultivated over many lifetimes. We dare not seek further rewards." Saying this, he bowed deeply and retreated. Pear remarked as he left, "With Consort Hua gone, he's learned to behave. Now he's treading carefully, ensuring everything is perfect." Lu Zhu chuckled. "Even if Consort Hua hadn't fallen, who in the palace would dare neglect our mistress?" I glanced at her and instructed, "Focus on the task at hand. Go and make some fresh lotus leaf tea." After resting and freshening up, I, accompanied by Huan Bai, made my way to Emperor Xianling's quarters. Passing over the bridges of Fan Yu Lake and through the winding corridors adorned with flowers and trees, we reached the long Yongxiang path, flanked by ancient cypresses and shaded by dense foliage, offering cool respite from the sun. Suddenly, a sharp whoosh sounded above as an arrow pierced the sky, its force swift and fierce, disappearing into the fluffy clouds. A shadow plummeted from the sky in the distance. Instinctively, I stepped back. A heavy thud followed as something crashed through the branches, stirring up dust and feathers amidst the fallen leaves, filling the air with a harsh metallic scent. A closer look revealed two Haidongqing pierced by a single arrow through their heads, a remarkable feat given their ferocity and agility. The birds, known for their strength and razor-sharp beaks, were a formidable prey. Huan Bai couldn't help but admire. What excellent archery skills! Cheers and applause erupted nearby. An eunuch hurried over to retrieve the birds, bowing respectfully upon seeing me. Curious, I asked, "Is His Majesty hunting in the garden?" The eunuch respectfully replied, "Prince Qinghe has arrived, and His Majesty is hunting with the prince." The mention of Prince Qinghe brought back memories of my first meeting with Emperor Xianling in the Shanglin Garden, where he introduced himself as Prince Qinghe, stirring tender emotions within me. Noticing the golden patterns on the arrow's feathers, I smiled. His Majesty indeed possesses exceptional archery skills. The eunuch, smiling along, said, "Prince Qinghe is also highly skilled with the bow, and His Majesty has nothing but praise for him." I was momentarily taken aback, having heard that Prince Qinghe was more inclined towards the arts and led a leisurely life, much like a hermit. It was surprising to learn of his precise archery skills, which seemed out of character. But it was merely an unexpected detail irrelevant to me. I casually inquired if anyone else was present. "Chao Ronghua is accompanying His Majesty." I nodded and instructed, "Take the Haidongqing away quickly. Tell His Majesty I'll be there shortly." He nodded obediently and left. After he had been gone for a while, I adjusted my hair and dress and said to Huan Bai, "Let's go as well." Entering the garden, I caught a glimpse of a tall figure in lake blue disappearing behind the lush flora, his presence as serene as a mountain pine, exuding an air of leisurely grace. My curiosity piqued, I gave him a second glance. An eunuch approached and informed, "His Majesty is waiting for you at Shueli Nanshuan Hall," leading me there. Shueli Nanshuan Hall, situated on the western bank of Tai Pond and partially over the water, was surrounded by airy corridors with dense bamboo curtains, making it exceptionally cool and tranquil. Upon entering, a refreshing mix of lake air and a subtle fragrance of tea welcomed me. Inside, Emperor Xianling and Chao Ronghua were seated, enjoying tea. Seeing me, Emperor Xianling smiled. "You've arrived." After exchanging pleasantries, I smiled and asked, "Your Majesty seems in high spirits. Where did you find such wonderfully fragrant tea?" Emperor Xianling chuckled. "It was all thanks to the sixth brother, who went to great lengths to procure this half-pound of Shueting Hansue. It's truly exceptional. Try a cup." Shueting Hansue, grown on the treacherous peaks in the far north and nurtured by snow, is a rare tea with a refreshingly cool flavor, scarce even among the nobility. Prince Qinghe is quite thoughtful. I looked around and mentioned, "I heard His Majesty had a successful hunt with the prince earlier, but he seems to have disappeared." I jokingly added, "Perhaps the prince heard about my unremarkable appearance and decided to hide to avoid a fright." Emperor Xianling laughed at my tease, telling Chao Ronghua, "Listen to her, comparing herself to plainness. If she's plain, then what does that make the rest of the ladies in the harem?" Chao Ronghua, with a soft smile and gently peeling a grape, responded, "Prince Qinghe was here just now. He left in a hurry to admire some newly arrived cloisonné porcelain from Yuezhou." She then offered a peeled grape to Emperor Xianling. "Sister Wani is modest. His Majesty is merely enjoying her humor." After Emperor Xianling accepted the grape, he chuckled. "Indeed," Confucius said, "only women and petty men are difficult to nurture." I playfully hid my face behind a fan, feigning anger. His Majesty is comparing me to petty men. I won't stand for this. Pretending to leave, I added, "If His Majesty dislikes my presence, I shall take my leave." Emperor Xianling stood up, holding me back. "All that talk must have left you thirsty. Try this Shueting Hansue as my apology." I turned back, my annoyance turning to joy. His Majesty is truly generous, using Prince Qinghe's tea as a peace offering. Emperor Xianling replied, "As long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters." We then sat down together to savor the tea.
Follow us to avoid getting lost and enjoy endless exciting stories. For more content, please go to the Story Wall homepage to view more exciting novels.